Too bad you can't like just switch the direction of the hairs on your skins and then go backwards.
Yeah. A little switch on the side right there.
Yeah.
If you want to climb Mount St. Helens in the winter, you'll need to start at Marble Mountain Snow Park. You can't start at Climbers Bivouac because they don't plow the road to Climbers Bivouac in the winter. Mount St. Helens, or Lowit, as us locals sometimes prefer to call it, is a 4-sandwich climb with 5,500 feet of elevation gain over 5 miles. The funnest way to climb it in the winter is on backcountry skis or a split board, but most people climb it on foot with snowshoes, micro spikes, and or crampons. If you're going to do this on foot, wear boots that can accommodate crampons and carry those crampons with you in addition to your micro spikes. Climbers who are not using skis should also carry an ice axe at all times because you're either going to need it to climb and descend icy pitches or to control your descent if you choose to glissade. There is no scenario where a climber without skis should not bring their ice axe. Skiers and splitboarders can often get by without one. Do not climb this mountain when it is actively snowing or when the weather forecast calls for clouds or fog. It is impossible to navigate up here in whiteout conditions. Bring a compass, bring GPS, bring a paper map, and use your judgment. Don't climb this if you're not experienced navigating in the snow above tree line. All of that said, this is a non-technical climb, so it is a good one to start with if you're experienced with snow travel and want to dabble in beginner mountaineering. Let's go over what you can expect to encounter as you climb this mountain. A lot of climbers like to start out at 5:30 in the morning to catch the sunrise. Also, if you're climbing in January, that's necessary as with the shorter days, you'll need the entire day open to summit and then return, especially in case something goes wrong. Some people leave their houses at 4 in the morning, others just sleep in the parking lot. I've tried it both ways, and having tried it both ways, I recommend that you find a way to just sleep in your car at the trailhead. It won't be as cold as you think it will be. Depending on when the last storm came through, there might be 9 feet of snow at Marble Mountain, or there might not be enough snow to ski on until you get 2 miles up the trail, as Marble Mountain is only at 2,500 feet of elevation. If the first couple of miles is dirt, it's smart to bring a pair of hiking shoes so you don't have to hike 2 miles in ski boots. Don't hike 2 miles of dirt in ski boots. It's not worth the misery. If it's early season, there's going to be this trench in the middle of the track that you ski, hike, or snowshoe in. It's not an ideal situation, but it'll do. It can be tricky on the way down, though. This situation steadily improves throughout the winter and early spring until the snow melts. Alpine Sunrises are the main reason to start climbing Helens at 5:30 in the morning, because if you start from Marble Mountain at 5:30, you'll break the tree line just as the sun is starting to crack the horizon. This section right above the tree line where the route traverses Chocolate Falls is absolutely treacherous during the early season. That's just another thing to be aware of. If you're lucky, the snow will be packed down so you can just take off your skis. If you're not lucky, then you'll be post-holing. But if you approach the same area after significant snow accumulation later in the season, it'll likely look more like this, where it's so gentle it's not really even an obstacle. It's amazing what a difference 10 feet of snow can make. Like any alpine environment, conditions are highly variable on this mountain, and even on a day when there's ample snow coverage, it's entirely possible that weeks of heavy winds may have scoured the snow off the main ridgeline, which won't be a problem for mountaineers who are walking up, but will force skiers into the valleys. Snow conditions are variable. I might have liked to have whippets in some of these shaded areas. The route up this mountain climbs about 1,500 feet over the first 3 miles, and then another 3,500 feet over the last 2 miles. There's a very distinct transition between when this is relatively easy and where it suddenly gets very steep. This is also where the climbing gets pretty tricky and where softer icy snow conditions can make travel frustrating or even potentially hazardous. Skiers should be aware that there will be sections that require boot packing on most days. There may occasionally be that perfect day where it's possible to summit the entire mountain without taking off the skis, but don't plan on it. Folks on foot planning to glissade will require an ice axe to control their speed on these descents. That's why you need your ice axe if you're on foot regardless of conditions. Practice this skill before you do this climb. Bring a small pad to glissade on. If you arrive at this summit on a clear enough day, you can see all the way up to Mount Baker to the north and down to the Three Sisters to the south and out over large parts of the Portland metro area, as well as into the crater of the 1980 eruption where the new lava dome is forming, as well as out over Spirit Lake. Be very careful of the edge of the rim, as a sizable cornice forms every winter that will collapse if you find yourself standing on it, so stay 10 to 15 feet back from what you think is the edge of the rim. After climbing to the top of the mountain, you're only halfway halfway done, and plenty of deaths and injuries happen on the way down from the summit of mountains. The most important step to not dying on your way down is making sure you know where the way down is. Look down the mountain carefully and make absolutely certain that you know where the ski trail is leading back to the parking lot. If you get pointed just slightly in the wrong direction up here at the top, you'll be way off by the time you get to the bottom. I'd argue that if you're proficient at it, skiing or snowboarding is actually the safest way to get down from the rim, as with modern metal-edged skis, it's the most intentional and controlled method of descending as well as the fastest. Speed actually kind of matters in this circumstance because the sooner you get to the bottom, the less tired you'll be and the sooner you'll be out of danger. If you're not on skis, glissading is the next best option, but it's less controlled and therefore not quite as safe. There isn't one particular route you should use to descend this, as the safest route changes from day to day, and the only way to really get comfortable figuring that out is to have some experience traveling in the snow. Stay in your comfort zone. Expect a ski descent to take about 45 minutes. Expect a descent on foot to take 2 to 3 hours, depending on conditions and how much glissading you can do. Remember to stop and rest on your way down, and that hydration and eating properly are just as important on the way down as they are on the way up the mountain. I'd like to take this moment to thank all my Patreon supporters, especially my Loamy Goodness level sponsors Andy Sewery, Charles Kim, Damon Corey, Randy Relithford, and Ty Morgan Marbit. I'd also like to thank my Hero Dirt level sponsors, earning their special mention at the end of this video: Bryce Ulrich, Heather Van Valkenburg, Jason Moore, and Pedro Cantarini. If you'd like to join this list of supporters of informational content, navigate to patreon.com and contribute. Now, get out there and go climb a mountain.